I just figured out why Jesus being a fictional character is a necessary element of atheistic philosophy. Atheists are very smart. There's no doubt about that. And I think they were sitting around one day trying to discuss the problem of Jesus. And they all said, well, I mean, he didn't do anything wrong. He was a good guy. It's like, well, hold on. We can't really discount these claims of divinity that the Christians put out there. Well, we don't believe in the Bible anyway. Not the point. The point is, we really can't discount eyewitness accounts of a man's life. We can't just throw those out and disallow them and really expect to win a logical argument if the man was real. Well, wait a second. What do you mean if the man was real? Nobody really disputes that. Well, I mean, the fact of the matter is, if he was real and he was a good man and he made claims of divinity, us calling him a good man agrees with his claims of divinity, because you can't just throw everything else out. It's like, it's a very well-crafted narrative, and he's the things he said are very deep and meaningful, insightful, and important. And so there's no way to justify that he was completely crazy, but he said all these deeply meaningful, important things, and we can't completely discount the claims of divinity because they're there. Culturally, they're there. Mythologically, and I mean, the fulfilled prophecies are there. So we only have one narrative here, guys. Well, wait, why? We can't agree that Jesus was a real person and that he wasn't God? No, not if he said so, because if he wasn't God, now we've got this problem of we can't say he's a good person. Why? Because it meant he was crazy, or it meant he was evil. I mean, C.S. Lewis had a pretty good point. So how do we deal with that liar, lunatic, or Lord philosophy? Well, all we can do is like say he never existed in the first place. That first century Jews just made him up, wholesale, from whole cloth, just completely made him up, and he never existed, because that's the only ground we can stand on. It's the only ground that works, because we can't say he's God, and if he wasn't God, then the Pharisees were right to kill him, because he was a blasphemer trying to lead a religious rebellion, and thousands of people were flocking to him. They had to kill him. And if we say that the Jews were right, we're agreeing that God exists, that blasphemy is a sin punishable by death. We can't do that either, because blasphemy is not something anybody should die for if God doesn't exist, so we can't agree with them there. We can agree that that was the right call for them to do, but we can't say it makes Jesus bad. But if Jesus wasn't bad, we have to deal with the fact that he also said he was God, or God's equivalent. And we can't do that, especially not with Christianity. So we've got to say he never existed in the first place. How do we make that narrative work? Nobody has a body. Doesn't that kind of help their case? Kind of. But the fact of the matter is, no physical body that says this is Jesus has ever been found. It's like, well, it wasn't supposed to be. He came back from the life. Well, from the dead. Well, exactly. You know, and that's just a fantasy, so we're not going to worry about that. I'm saying the whole thing is fantasy. They just made him all up from the beginning. Jesus Christ never existed. The man didn't live. He didn't die, and he wasn't crucified. That's it. That's our story. Think it'll work? People believe anything if it lines up with their worldview.